Kevin Crouch here with South Metro Weather. We're here at the storm desk, and this is going to be kind of a informal discussion about the storms that we're expecting over the next couple of days. And sometimes it's easier for me to do this kind of thing from the desk. I have more control over switching from model to model and that kind of stuff. This is going to be, again, just a kind of a less formal chat here. Obviously, we don't have storms in our area at the moment, but that will change in a big way over the next couple of days. You can see right now on the radar kind of what we're looking at across the state of Texas. And there are a number of storms out to west of Midland, also northwest of our area here, including a tornado warning that was recently issued north of Wichita Falls. But there's not much here. We kind of zoom in on our area, we'll get the local radar queued up. And there's just not much happening here in our particular area. But northwest of us and south of us, there is. We're kind of in the empty space here between the two. Now, over the next couple of days, we are going to see that change in a pretty big way. And I want to show you this on satellite, just so you can kind of get an idea of what we're dealing with in terms of, let's see, I got my little thing in the way here. Let's see, this is what I want. Okay, you can see this system. I mean, just look at this low pressure system over the four corners right now that is flinging all of this moisture our way. So definitely a very active system headed our direction. And we're going to be seeing more of this over the next couple of days. Really, the most prolific or most active period is going to be late Friday into early Tuesday. Of course, we have already seen several high school football games get rescheduled. You know, we have seen several events that were updated, moved around and those kinds of things. So we will continue to monitor this, of course, over the next couple of days. I'm hearing that there's not much volume, but the volume should be okay. If anything, I was worried about this being a little more sensitive. Okay, turned it up a little bit, so we'll see what that does. But yeah, I mean, you can see the system itself, a large low pressure system over the desert Southwest. And obviously you can see that across the state of Texas here, that we're already watching some effects from that. Obviously it's just moving into West Texas. So let's get into some models. Let's kind of take a look at what we're going to be dealing with over the next couple of days. Now, when it comes to, let me get the warnings off of here too, just so we're not looking at any, mixing the now from the future, that kind of thing. So this is the NAM model. And when it comes to the storms that we had last weekend, the NAM model really won out. And sometimes, I mean, you get into which model is the best. And people ask me all the time, which model do you like the best? And each model kind of has their camp, right? You're going to have different models that have different preferences. And people say, oh, well, the NAM model has a linear mode bias or things like that, technical talk and all that sort of thing. But really, I look at both of them, and I know that the high resolution rapid refresh, the HRRR, or HR in short, that model can oftentimes be a little bit aggressive with the convection. Sometimes it shows storms being a little more intense maybe than what we could reasonably expect. But regardless, when it comes to these models, I take them all in and I try to make a decision from there. This is the HR model. This was the afternoon run. Now it's 7 o'clock now. Starting at 8 o'clock, we'll get more data in. And it sometimes takes an hour or two to get all of that in. So, we are... Chase, you didn't miss much. We're just now getting into kind of the forecast, but here's what we're looking at. So just a couple of things I want to note here. This is really right now, 7 o'clock. Pretty accurate to what's going on, especially with the storms west of us. It's not going to have them in the exact right spot, but you notice that, 7 o'clock, it shows storms kind of close to home over in Somervell and Hood counties. Those really aren't there. So again, this NAM model, they're not always going to get it exactly right. But again, you have to take these models as general broad strokes. But what I want to show you is as we get into overnight tonight, There could be storms that push through, mostly through the Metroplex right now, according to this model, and I think the HR was pretty well on board with that. So overnight tonight, we might have a few showers and storms that pass through. With all of this energy to our west, we could have some of that translate over. Now, this is 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. And it's interesting, I'm going to show you something here in a sec that kind of conflicts with this. But obviously to the west, out in West Texas, you can see that there is quite a bit of convection out there. New storms popping up as this low pressure system gets closer. And something I want to show you here, this is 7 p.m. There's really two areas to focus on. One is West Texas, and you can see that the convection is becoming more widespread. It's going to be getting more organized out there. But to the south of us, and the NAM model has pushed this pretty persistently, that we have storms coming in from the south that will move northward, kind of move into our area as the evening progresses. And I know that we have different plans. Obviously, the football games have already changed. I know there's some trunk or treat events that either canceled or moved indoors for tomorrow. So that is one possibility. And yes, we do have, let me zoom in a little bit, do have these storms that the NAM model still believes will come in tomorrow evening. I'm not expecting these particular storms to be very intense. I mean, you see a lot of red there, but really the stronger, possibly severe storms that we're going to be dealing with are going to be overnight Friday into Saturday morning. That's going to be the most intense, the most widespread round of storms that we could see. So as we get into 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m., 5 a.m., now we're getting into early Saturday morning. And what's interesting is, this is, for one, on the NAM model side, this is a little less organized than what we saw coming in early in the morning on Friday. So that's 7, 8, and 9 a.m. But you see off to the northwest, more of a complex coming together that as we get into noontime on Saturday, brings in more activity, and then we go into the afternoon and the evening, and we just have rain very persistent. This has been a little bit of a change from what we had seen originally, because now we're starting to see the NAM model holding convection in the area throughout the day on Saturday. For the most part, the models have seemed to suggest, and I'm gonna pause this right about 8 a.m. on. So we're gonna pause right there. This is 8 a.m. on Saturday morning, according to the NAM model. This is just one interpretation, but we've seen models where we had the storms come in early in the morning, had kind of a break, and then after that, in the evening, late afternoon, evening time, possibly had more storms coming in. This is showing storms in the morning and then hanging around throughout the morning into the afternoon hours, and then finally clearing out for the most part by 7, 8 o'clock. But on the back side of this, if we can zoom this out a little bit, you can see how this curves around. This is the back side of it. I wouldn't expect any of this activity to be severe, but we could have some showers and storms Saturday night into early Sunday morning as the back side of this system passes through. So that is looking at the NAM model here. Let's switch over to the high resolution rapid refresh. And again, we're looking at this. Well, let me show you a couple of things. First, this is going to be a shorter run, so it's only going to show maybe the next 24 hours or so. But you see right here, this is 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. So 6, 7, 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. The HR model shows storms coming directly through our area. The NAM model showed them farther north. So there's a possibility, and I want to see what more data says. We're going to get another run of the extended data later tonight, 8, 9, 10 o'clock range. And I want to see what those runs say, because this is fairly new for the HR model, and it's straight up statistics, folks. I mean, you can have an outlier there where you have a model that says something kind of wild, and then the other runs won't show that, and who knows what it was looking at, but it just kind of doesn't fit with the rest of the data that you're seeing. And that's kind of what we've seen there. But as we get on through 11 o'clock on Friday, things kind of clear out, and then again start setting up to our west, but don't look as intense. So a little bit of dissonance still exists between the two models, between the two short-term high-resolution models. So this is an extended run of the HR model, and what I want to show you is how similar this was. And again, this is 8 a.m. tomorrow, so it's still kind of showing some showers in our area, but really just some scattered rain, really not anything intense, but it does show farther west things getting organized. And then what's interesting is that the last extended run of the HR model showed a much more robust development tomorrow evening across West Texas, and then boom! I mean, this is quite something. I don't think the NAM model quite has a line that's this colorful. But remember when I said the HR model it can be a little bit aggressive sometimes, be a little bit exaggerated on things that it shows. But we have this clean line here by early Saturday morning. This is 3 a.m. That's 5 a.m., 6, 7, 8, and 9, 10. So you can see by 11 o'clock Saturday morning, the main complex is out of here. It's gone. It decided to scram, but behind it, we have some of these storms coming in for the afternoon. So at this point, my conclusions right now, as far as what to expect for our area, and we'll get back to the NAM model here. Overall, I think a few showers and thunderstorms are possible tomorrow morning. I think that we could see, as we get into Saturday, I'm pretty much going to have showers and thunderstorms off and on throughout the day. I think that with the latest data that we've gotten, I think there's an emphasis now from the data that we're seeing that we could very well see more, consistent convection through the day on Saturday. For those who are getting those briefings from me, expect another one of those tomorrow morning, and I'll go through what the late night data and the early morning data say. We'll see if that holds. But this is what I'm seeing here, and of course we'll do another one of these. We'll do live coverage, all that kind of stuff. If I may be up all night, Saturday night or Friday night into Saturday morning. It's still my hope to be out there for the Go Texan Crossroads of Texas Country Festival. I don't know if I'll make it out there though. Unfortunately, we have a spot for the South Metro Weather booth, and I would love to chat with you all if we are able to get the storms out and keep them out. Maybe we can do that, but odds are I'll probably be here in the studio right in front of the green screen, working on doing that and covering that for you. So we'll have to wait and see what that's going to do, but I want to show you a couple of things that are interesting, and let me kind of clear the map here. Just one second. Just a couple of things I want to show you as far as, and to answer Alexis, your question, severe weather and we'll talk about that. So this is tonight's severe weather event. Obviously, we see that going on right now across Wichita Falls with that tornado warning that was issued just north of there. Also, south of Plainview, west and north of Midland. So pretty well nailed it there. Now, for our particular area, and you have to understand too, we'll talk about the timeline here. This is the risk of severe weather for Friday through early Saturday morning. You have to understand these go from 7 a.m. to 7 a.m. So this is 7 a.m. Friday through 7 a.m. Saturday. So this covers the overnight and pre-dawn periods from Friday through Saturday, right? So this is what we're looking at. We are in a marginal risk of severe weather. Now, the primary concern with storms that come through our area is going to be some hail and some high winds. And so, the more intense segments of that line or the more intense storms, depending on kind of what modality we get with this, the model's the NAM model especially, is not wanting to assign much of an organized, which is a difference because I talked about that linear bias. Usually the NAM model wants to almost always give us a straight line of storms. It has abandoned that now with just kind of a more messy blob of rain and thunder. And so, that may affect our severe chances. If it's just an unorganized blob that comes through, that usually is going to cut down on your severe weather chances because you don't have a straight line of strong winds coming through, and you also don't have as many dominant updrafts. So that could affect our chance of severe weather. But for the period of through the day tomorrow into early Saturday morning, that higher risk, that slight risk of severe weather, is going to be west of our area, west and south of us. Now, for the through the day on Saturday, now this is again starting 7 a.m. Saturday through 7 a.m. Sunday, so basically just through the day. The best chance of severe weather is south of us. So that this is from the Storm Prediction Center. So the best chances of severe weather will be west from late Friday into early Saturday, and then the rest of the day Saturday will be south of us. I'm cool with that. If you ask me, I'm happy with not getting any severe weather out of this. We definitely need the rain here in North Texas. We need the rain everywhere. And if we can get it without the severe weather, that is great. Now, what I want to show you that is a little more intense over our area is going to be, and I believe this is the same period of time. Yes. Yeah, this is going to be the same period of time. So this is 7 a.m. Friday through 7 a.m. Saturday. So this is going to cover that primary complex that's going through. This is the what we call the excessive rain outlook, or the excessive rain risk. Basically meaning the risk of flash flooding. And it does include our area. Now, what's interesting is the slight risk shifted westward just a little bit. Not much. But just a little bit. Kayla, is it possible Ennis won't get rain? I guess there's a 0.001% chance that Ennis won't get rain, but dead gum. If Ennis doesn't get rain out of this, I quit. Because this is going to be a very widespread rain event. This is not the kind of thing I would expect to leave anybody out. But this is early Friday through early Saturday, and this is where we're looking at that slight risk. And you look at the text, upwards of, we could be looking at upwards of 2 inches per hour with the heavier cells. So, I mean, we're expecting quite a bit of rain, but this has shifted slightly westward. We'll see what they do tomorrow with this, but we are still expecting a lot of rain. And so I would say along and west of I-45 is going to be the best chance of getting some of that heavier rain. Now, if we take this through the day Saturday, wrong direction. There we go. That shifts east of us. So in that period, in that, 7 to around 7 o'clock time Saturday, we may see some of that heavier rain in our area. We may be looking at some flooding possibly, but the opportunities don't appear to be as great for our area during that time. So the good news is that it looks like we're able to maybe trade some of the less desirable effects of these storms in exchange for just some straight up rain, lightning, thunder, that kind of thing. Now, I know that the rain is still a drag for all of the different outdoor events going on Friday night through Saturday, but we really, really need it. I do also have to touch on, let me get this out of the way here. And by the way, if you're wondering what program I use, it's right there, Radar Omega. Radar Omega, they've had some changes go on. They've caught a lot of flack from a lot of people. I like how much is in one spot. That's as far as a workflow is concerned. I love it. So I do want to show you for our particular area, the flood watch. So this is the flood watch that includes our counties. So all, Ellis, Hill, Johnson, and Navarro counties all included in this. You read that it's 2 to 3 inches of rain possible, with some places getting 4 to 5 inches if they have those persistent downpours. If they get enough of those repetitive downpours and just all that rain, then it's, we could be looking at 4 to 5 inches in some isolated places. Not widespread. I think for the most of us, we're going to be looking at 2 to 3 inches for the most part. And that's 2 to 3 inches cumulative from, starting tomorrow through Sunday morning. So 2 to 3 inches of rain is possible. Very, very isolated possibilities of like 4 to 5. But I think 2 to 3 is more likely. I think 1 to 3 may be realistic. I think there may be some areas that just kind of miss out on some of those heavier rains. But I think 2 to 3 inches is possible. And that's what has prompted this flood watch for this area. So that's what we're looking at. And I see the viewer count is dropping, so I think folks have pretty much got the gist at this point. But it's going to be a rainy period. I don't see anybody not getting rain from this. I'll be curious to see how many people say that it split and went around their town when, this thing is stretching from the Red River to the Rio Grande. And everybody gets rain, but folks like to, if folks are not complaining, they're bored. So that's just the way it is sometimes. But the severe weather risk really is not that great. If there's any concern that I have for any particular area, or any concern that I think could be potentially dangerous from this storm system, it's going to be the flooding. And at this point, it doesn't immediately look like a major flooding issue. We are looking at drought conditions, so that does generally slow down the process of the ground soaking in that rain. That could prove to be a problem, at least initially. So my hope is that, we won't have too many of those downpours, that we'll be able to get the rain in more steadily. Maybe we can get some morning rain in here. If we can get a little bit of morning rain tomorrow morning to kind of wet the ground and maybe prime things a little bit, I think that will help with the overnight rain event that will bring much more rain, maybe help the ground soak it in a little bit better. So we'll see what happens. If we get morning rain, I don't think that's going to be severe either. Could be some clouds of thunder. So maybe just be prepared to give yourself a little extra time in the morning, getting to school, getting to work, as we could have a few storms in the area. It's not a great chance, but looks like there could be a few storms floating around, just enough to delay things, right? Just enough to get in the way. But it will be a very, very beneficial rain for our area. The greatest rain chance still looks like it's going to be from late Friday night into early Saturday morning. That's pretty much been consistent here. What time does it get out of here on Saturday? Man, that's a tough question to answer, because models are starting to grant us a little more rain through the day on Saturday. So I want to see some more data. I want to see if these latest runs, are they an outlier? Is it possible that, we see that dissolve in the next model run? We've seen a few places recently that got really excited about an upcoming storm system. By the next model run, it was gone. And they had to go out and say, okay, well, it's not there anymore. We kind of blew it out of proportion. So I want to see more data before I really start getting too much in the details and in the weeds about what to expect during the day on Saturday, because really it's tough to call. And I know that can make sometimes all the difference in terms of what events and things are going on. And I've got, events that I'm helping with this weekend. So stay tuned to South Metro Weather. We're going to keep you updated. We're going to keep watching this. I'm going to be pouring over data every model run I have. I stop what I'm doing, jump into the chair, jump to the storm desk, and start analyzing everything, kind of going through what we're seeing, because I want to make sure you have the best possible idea of what's going on across our area. And it's going to be a wet weekend. That is the most descriptive I can possibly be. It's going to be a wet weekend, and you're going to need to be patient with it. But hey, we got rid of the 90s. Like, I was out walking the dog earlier, and it was the heat of the day. It was phenomenal. And then I was outside just a little bit ago, and my gosh, it feels good out there. So at least we're getting fall-ish temperatures. We still should be normal right now is upper 70s. So really, we should be devoid of the 80s. But hey, 80s at this point, I'm cool with that. As far as the Halloween forecast, it's just outside the 7-day. But I will say that right now, Halloween looks pretty nice. Halloween temperatures look pretty mild. It looks like maybe we'll get a cold front right before, like the day before Halloween. Just another kind of reinforcing push of cool air, and it looks like that will keep us relatively cool for Halloween. I'm not ready to throw anything out there too definitively yet, but Halloween does look nice right now. Looks dry, looks cool. So I think we're going to have a nice Halloween forecast. I know I was in a bandit, bandit from Bluey. I was in that, my family did the whole Bluey outfit. So kind of all the outfits, the family. And it was awful because it was warm. It was kind of humid. It was just gross. And it looks like it's going to be much more pleasant for trick-or-treating on Halloween. So thank you so much for tuning in. Stay tuned. We're going to keep you updated. I'll probably have another video out tomorrow morning, a more detailed video with the green screen behind me and all the visuals and all the stuff. We'll keep bringing updates to you, and more is to come. Again, just to recap, A few showers and thunderstorms are possible tomorrow morning. The bulk of this rain is going to come in Friday night. It's going to really be present. The bulk of it's going to be late Friday night, early Saturday morning, and then through the day Saturday. May have more storms going across our area, but timing that out is still a little bit tough, so I'll be watching for more data. Thank you so much for tuning in. Get ready. Lots of rain is to come.